Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
Today we
afternoon,
are,
ma'am.
yes, very good afternoon. Today we are with the second day of our 5 days online workshop by an expert, Dr. Sarmisha Sahu. And today we have with us BSc Semester 3 class as well as the students of MSc Physics Semester 3. Even undergrad students from other institute of Punjab has joined us in this workshop. So before starting, I would like to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. Sarmisha Sahu, who is the Amani and Veshika coordinator. Dr. Sarmisha Sahu is a retired associate professor of physics from Maharani Lakshmi Amani College for Women, Bangalore. She is very dynamic personality who has provided her services as a teacher in Indian Association of Physics Teachers, Indian Science Academics, Bangalore, Maharani Lakshmi Amani College, Augusta International Foundation. She has authored several books like 8 volumes of Understanding Physics, 8 volumes of Concise Physics. Till date, she has conducted countless workshops, hundreds of science demonstrations, plenty of interactive lecture demonstrations. She has also got 3 UGC minor research projects in her credit. She has published many research papers in National Journal and in journals of international repute. She has been crowned with several awards as she is 6 times winner. So this is a great credit. It's not a single winner. She is a 6 times winner. So you need to applause for the ma'am. She's a 6 times winner in national competition of innovative experiments, 3 times for national competition of innovative computations physics. She has got so many achievements in her credits. We are very fortunate to have such an eminent personality with us. Our students as well as our faculty members are very much excited to participate in the online workshop to learn physics by doing. Yesterday, Ma'am Sahu has given beautiful demonstrations on reflection of light with the help of combination of plane mirrors. She explained the method to find angle between 2 mirrors and number of images. Also, the method to find planar angles between 2 inclined plane mirrors was explained. She elaborated steradian concept and its calculations. Girls, I would like to tell you we have our DBT Star KMB YouTube channel. Yesterday video is uploaded there. You can watch it anytime because the students who have joined us today, they were not present last day. So you can watch that video on our DBT Star KMB YouTube channel. So without any further delay, yes, yes, is there any query? So without any further delay, I would request Dr. Sarmisha Sahu to take the charge and go with the proceedings of this day. Thank you so much, ma'am,
Yes, so
for
it's
your
a
kind
nice
presence.
time. Thank you so much. It's really wonderful. Nice words and lovely children all around. Thanks a lot for the invitation. This is the second day. I have already a taste of your students yesterday, and they are interactive, and I'm sure this group will also interact the same way. I want all your interactions, please. And interactions, you have been muted. So whenever there is a question and you would like to answer, please press your space bar so that we can interact. It should not be a one-way monologue. I don't want to stand in front of you and keep on telling. It has to be a one-to-one interaction. Okay. And I'll make a small correction. I'm not a doctor. I think people have the credit of addressing me doctor. So please excuse me. Anyway, that is not very important. So we'll start afresh. Today's topic is simulation, Monte Carlo simulation. Have you heard of Monte Carlo simulation any time before?
No, ma'am.
Oh, ma'am. No, ma'am.
PhD students wouldn't have heard, but there is some sort of computational physics in MSc courses. Maybe you have not started, and even if you have started, you may not have heard Monte Carlo. It's a wonderful name, and it really sounds good. Monte Carlo is the person name of the simulation. Now, what exactly it is, I will tell you in short. I will in fact show you a PPT and then try to explain what a Monte Carlo simulation is. And then we will do the activities to actually realize what sort of simulation are we doing and where is it leading us. Okay. So what I will do is probably I'll switch over to my PPT where I have jotted down a few things. It will become easier for you to see. And then we will do the simulation ourselves. Okay. How many of you have numbers with you? Could you just tell me or raise your hand or tell me yes? Yeah, one hand I can see. How many of you have the numbers with you? Two. Others don't have? Okay. Do you have a graph sheet? All of you?
Yes.
Yes.
ma'am.
Did you draw a circle in the graph sheet?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If you have done it, fine. If you don't have numbers and if your kitchen is close by, okay, get a handful of dal. Can you?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Dal, big or chana or something like that, a kabuli chana, something which you can handle easily. Just get a handful of them. Run and go. If you have numbers, stay with numbers. If you don't have numbers, and if you can, because if you really do it, you will understand what exactly the simulation is all about and how we are doing the simulation. Okay, we will do it once mechanically and then we will do it in a software. We will use the Excel sheet and we will do it in the software. Once you have understood what it is all about, it will be easy to handle the Excel sheet. Okay, now all of you have numbers or dal or something in close to you. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I hope you have. Now, because if you have, then it will be nice. I will keep stopping in between for you to use that material and do the activity. Okay, so let me now share my PPT.
You can share.
I can share only one thing at a time, or can I share?
I mean, you can share.
I can share, yeah. No, I have to share only one thing at a time.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, okay, done. This is my PPT. Okay, now what am I going to talk about? Monte Carlo simulation. And with the simulation, what is my aim? Let me tell you. I want to find out what is the value of pi. All of us know what is pi? Yes?
Yes,
What is
ma'am.
pi? What is pi? Tell me your view. What is pi? We are
It is
using
a
it.
number.
It is a number.
7.
It is 22 by 7. What else do you know about pi?
Ma'am, constant value.
It's a constant value. Very good. I've got 3 points. What else do you know about pi? 22 by 7. Suppose I divide by 7, 22 by 7. Will I get a definite number?
3.14.
3.1.
Will it stop after 14? 3.14, will it stop?
No, ma'am. No,
No, it's a recurring number. You keep on dividing that what remainder never becomes 0. So it is
Yes,
a
ma'am.
recurring number. Yeah. Do you know a method how to find out pi? How will you find out pi? In your class, your teacher has told you pi is equivalent to 3.14 and therefore you are using. Now I'm asking you, tell me a method by which you can find out the value of pi. Anyone suggest?
It is the ratio of circumference of any circle to the diameter of that circle.
Fantastic. Will you give her a hand, all of you? May I know your name, please?
Isha.
Jisha.
Isha.
Isha, I-S-H-A. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. She told me a very good definition, a very good method. She said that pi is equivalent to circumference of a circle divided by the diameter. Okay. Now I will ask Isha, can you find out the circumference of a circle and the diameter of the circle, find out the ratio and tell me what is the value of pi? You have a circle in front of you. You have drawn a circle on the graph sheet. Can you find out the circumference of the circle? Can you find out the diameter of the circle? Find out the ratio and tell me what the value is. Isha, will you do it?
Just give me a 1 minute.
Oh, how will you do? You tell me. You first tell me how you will do. Then I'll give you time to do. You will find out the radius of the circle. Correct? Now tell me the method. How will you find out the circumference of the circle? Yeah, others can help. You can help, Isha. Tell me, how will you find out the circumference of a circle? Suppose the
We
task...
can use that.
Pardon? I didn't hear you, ma'am. Isha, I didn't hear you. Huh, come on, all of you should suggest. Rake up yourself. Buck up. Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, we can use thread.
You can use a thread, keep it along the circumference, measure the circumference on the scale, and then put the thread again along the diameter, find out that distance on the scale, find out the ratio. She's told me one method. Okay. Somebody else, can you suggest how you will find out the circumference? Not this method, some other method. Come on. I'm sure you know. Okay. Now, one answer we have got, that we can find out the circumference of the circle, we can find out the diameter, find out the ratio, and hence find out. But actually, when you find out, you will see that it is not very easy, because the circle circumference is a curve. To put a thread along the curve is not very easy, and therefore you will not be able to find out the pi value so easily. It is easy to tell, but it will be difficult for you to find out. You can try it out at home. I will not spend much time on that. So that is one method, but it is not a very good method. Here I'm telling you another method, which is again not a perfect method, but it is a simulation. That means with the help of some other means, we can find out what the value of pi is. And what is that means? It is known as Monte Carlo simulation. So I will explain to you what it is. So what is Monte Carlo simulation? Two very important statements I'm reading. It is useful for modeling with significant uncertainty in inputs. I don't know what I'm going to use, how I'm going to use. There is a lot of uncertainty in that. And using that uncertain value, I want to make a model and therefore find out the value of pi. Just now, somebody was telling, I will take a scale and I will take a thread and put it along the circumference. That will not be very clear way, very nice method, but still there will be a lot of uncertainty. Using that uncertainty, I will try to find out the value of pi. And the second thing is, whenever you are studying systems of large number of coupled degree of freedom, that means the degrees of freedom are not free of each other. You will be having connection between one and the other. In such a case, to find out a value clearly is very difficult. So you will use a simulation method under such conditions. So two difficulties I'm telling you, two hurdles I'm telling you. Whenever you have these two hurdles, you will try to use a simulation method. Okay. And with those hurdles itself, we will strive hard to get our answer. What else does it tell us? Monte Carlo simulation, usually we call it as an approach. So therefore I'm saying Monte Carlo approach consists of four different things. It should have a defined domain of possible inputs. These are big terms. What it actually means, when we are doing it, you will understand. It generates inputs randomly from the domain using a specified probability distribution. Now I'm giving you an explanation. I asked you to make a circle. Okay. In that circle, I will ask you to put dots and put dots at random. Therefore, my domain is the circle. And what I'm going to put? Dots. These dots are my inputs. These inputs, how I will put? Is there a particular way? Will I put one dot, after that another dot, after that one dot, another dot, all in a line? No, it will be done at random. Therefore, all my inputs over here, the way I'm going to put the dots, will be at random. And therefore, whether that dot is inside the circle or outside the circle, there will be a chance or a probability. That means it may be inside, it may not be outside. For example, I show you have drawn a graph sheet. You have a circle. I will ask you take a pencil and put dots in the graph paper. Close your eyes. Will you be 100% sure that all the dots that you are putting will be inside the circle? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
No,
No,
no
ma'am.
way, because you are not seeing it, and therefore you are doing it at random. Hence, there is a chance, some chance that those dots will be outside the circle and some chance that our dots will be inside the circle. So whenever you are having inputs in these Monte Carlo simulation, these inputs are rather random, and there is a chance, there is a probability distribution, chance that it will be there or will not be there. Okay. Then the third thing is, we are going to use this probability to find out something which is deterministic. That means I don't know whether the dot will be inside the circle or outside the circle, but I'm using those dots to find out the value of pi. I am finding out the value of pi. There is a computation that I'm doing to find out definitely a value of pi. What am I using? Some dots which are random. So I'm using some random phenomena and I'm trying to get a final value for something. That is how a simulation is done for Monte Carlo. And I will take the aggregate of all these results in my individual computation to get the value of pi. We'll do the whole exercise, it will become easy. We'll do it 2 times. Once we will do it mechanically, once we will use a Microsoft Excel and do it. Hope you will be able to follow that quickly along with me. Somebody, Isha, just now told me that circumference divided by diameter. I've just written that value then. And I'm showing you that pi is equivalent to 3.1415926.5 da 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 da. There is no stop. It can go on infinitely long. It is a decimal point which does not stop. It doesn't end. Therefore, we call it as an irrational number. And it is a constant. Somebody told it that yes, it is a constant. It is a transcendental number. Transcendental number means I don't have a particular method, an algebraic operation with the help of which I can find out the value of pi. I cannot take some numbers, add it, divide it, multiply it to power of it, etc., do some algebraic operations, and I will be able to find out the value of pi. It's not possible. Therefore, it is called a transcendental number. Since it is a transcendental number, there is no method to find out the value of pi. We are using this simulation for finding out the value of pi. So how do we find out? I'm now explaining. Make a circle on your graph sheet. Okay, let there be an x-axis, let there be a y-axis. Then just touching the circle, make a square. So if you have made a circle like this, you will make a square just touching the circle. Have you done it? May not, because I had not told you. You can do it now. Quickly on your graph sheet, wherever you have done the circle, make one axis along the x-axis, along the y-axis, and complete a square. The square should be touching the circle at 4 points. One over here, one over here, one over here, one over here. That means you are touching the circle 1 point over here, 1 point over here, 1 point over here, 1 point over here. How will you make it? Very simple. From the center of the circle, take the radius of the circle. If the radius of the circle is 3 centimeter, then the length of the square is equivalent to 6 centimeters, double of that. We can see that diameter is equivalent to the length. So take the diameter and make a square surrounding it so that it is touching the circle. It will take you 1 minute, half a minute. Yes, complete it, please. Okay, I'll carry on. Then you start on the graph sheet on the x-axis, start from 0 and the last point should be 90. So divide your scale properly along the radius of, the length of the square and mark it 0 to 90. Since I told you make a radius of 9 centimeters, you will know very quickly that 2 centimeters I can do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and it will become 90. Please mark on the x-axis 0 to 90. On the y-axis 0 to 90. The scale should be uniform. Please do it. You can mark 0, 10, 20, 30, 40 up to 90. Both axes x and y. Now, one of you tell yes, it is done, then it will be better. I can proceed.
Done, ma'am.
Done. Okay. Now, once you have marked 0 to 90, I have got my graph paper. I have got my domain. It is a circle and a square. And then I have to put inputs. Now, how do I put the inputs? Now, since it is on the graph paper and it is by marked 0 to 90, you can put inputs by points. And these points you will decide with the help of your numbers that you have. Suppose you have a bag full of numbers. You take your hand into the bag, and then I'm showing you over here. This is my bag. Okay, I have all my numbers over here. Okay, I have 0 to 90, everything over there. I take out the first coin, whatever it is. For me, it is 63. Okay, you will see ulta. Mine it is 63. My x coordinate is 63. Okay, then I will put it back into my bag. I'm putting it back into the bag. Again, I'm taking out another one at random. Okay, I'm not seeing. It is by chance I'm taking out one number and it is equivalent to 3. So my y coordinate is equivalent to 3. On the graph paper, x 63, y 3, mark a point. So you will go along the x-axis 63, along the y-axis 3, and then mark a point. I have shown this over here. Can you see like this? Okay, this is what I've done. Now I have all my marks numbers marked over here, 0 to 90, 0 to 90. I will go over here 63. I will go over here 3 and I will mark a point. Okay, now I'm telling you how to do and I want you to do it. So I have done 1 point. Like that, I want you, each one of you, to mark only 10 points. So that we'll take the whole class total and then do the operation. Otherwise, each person has to do many number of times. It will take a long time. So each of you take 10 points, mark 10 points in your circle. Quickly, can you do it? You have numbers. Okay. Now, those of you who do not have numbers, I told you, go get dal. All right. So you have had dal in your hand. Now, the best way, you don't have numbers on your graph paper. That means on this paper, take all the numbers. You take all of them. Do like this, mix it up in your hand. How you play Ludo. Keep this on the horizontal surface and put all the dals so that it is very well inside the square. Everything should be inside the square and it has to be done randomly. So you don't choose and put this thing dal on the square, this dal in the circle like that. You put twist it like this and leave it on your graph paper. They will scatter. Make sure that everything is inside the square. Okay. And then keep it. Count the number of dals inside the circle and count the total number of dals. Okay. Total number of dals is inside the square because the square is bigger. And how many dal is inside the circle, count and then write it down. Did you understand my thing? Operation, what you have to do? Those of you who are doing points, take 10 points. Take out 20 numbers, but each time you take out a number, you write that as the x coordinate, put it back into the box, take out one more, call it as the y coordinate. Write that point somewhere in your book and then mark the point on your graph paper. Put back all the coins, again take out one coordinate, that is your x coordinate, put it back into the bag, take out one more, that is your y coordinate, mark the point. Do 10 points. Then we will see how we can collaborate from each other's numbers. Okay. Yeah, y'all are doing. I can see Herman doing it. Oh, I'm happy. So I want all of you to do it. Please do it. Then you will definitely tell me that you can do Monte Carlo simulation anytime. When you finish 10 points, then stop, count the number of points inside the circle and the total number of points. Excellent. I'm seeing Herman doing it very nicely, very sincerely. She's taking out each of these numbers one after another, putting it on the plate, taking out one coin, another coin, and then writing the points, putting the point on the graph sheet. Well done. Well done. When you finish 10, say yes, then we will do the next step. Fantastic. So children are taking interest, doing it. Have you finished? Okay. Yes. Raised hand. Can I ask what it is? Somebody is raising hand. Please tell me what it is. Anyone who is raising hand, if you have any question, please ask. Okay, have you finished, Herman? Have you finished?
Yes.
Yeah, now I want you to do an additional job. Take a notebook. Number of points inside the circle you make in one column. Total number of points you make it in another column. Okay, and we will ask everybody. You have done 10. So in that 10 was the total number. Okay, you write total number 10. How many of that 10 was inside the circle?
All 10, ma'am.
All the 10 were inside the circle.
Yes,
How is that
ma'am.
Well, anyway, okay. So you've done 10 and 10. Yes, Punamjit, please tell total number of.
Ma'am, 6 inside the circle, 4 outside the circle.
Okay, so don't tell 4 outside. You say 10 and 6. Total
Okay,
number
ma'am.
10 and number of points in the circle 6. Okay, next, anybody else? Please tell me. 10 girls have to tell quickly. 10 of you, please tell the total number of points and the number of points inside the circle. Please, and Herman, please note down. Please note
Yes,
down.
ma'am.
Yeah. Next girl, please
Ma'am,
tell me.
Ma'am, 6 points inside the circle and 4 points outside the circle.
Okay, so 10 and 6. 10 and 6. Next, another girl.
Ma'am, 7 and 10.
10 and 7.
Ma'am,
Yes.
10 and 4.
Pardon?
10 and 4.
10 and 4. So somebody is telling 10 and 4. 4 inside the circle and totally 10. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Next. Barjinder, please tell.
Ma'am, 10 and 6 inside the circle.
Okay, 10 and 6. Please write. Somebody else? Somebody else?
Ma'am, 10 and 7.
10 and 7. Somebody else?
Girls, hurry up.
Yeah. Herman, when you have completed 10 items, then tell me stop and then we'll find out the total. Okay.
Okay.
How many have you finished? How many girls have told you? Herman, how many girls have told you?
5 told.
Only 5 have told. I think much more, no? Anyway, please, another 5 of you, please tell. Not done. Looks like. Okay, we'll stop with 5. Doesn't matter. Then the error will be too high, but doesn't matter. So the total number will become 10 into 5, 50. Okay, and total number of points in the circle. Just tell me how much it is. Add it up. 6 plus 7 plus whatever it is.
Ma'am, 33.
33. So 33 and total number is 50. Okay, done. Now we will go ahead and do. Now I made you do some dots inside the circle and some dots on the square. Okay, totally you all did 10 dots. That means all the 10 dots was inside the square, of which 6 of them were inside the circle, or some told 7 were there inside the circle. Somebody told 4 was inside the circle, whatever it is. So you had some points in the circle. Now, do we realize that the number of points that are there inside the circle is proportional to the area of the circle? The total number of points which are there are proportional to the area of the square. Do you agree with me or don't agree with me? Yes or no? Proportional, I'm saying. I'm not saying equal. All the points that you did had to be between 0 and 90, 0 and 90, which is the size of the square. That means all the 10 points had to be in the square. Yes or no? Yes or no? Was any point outside the square? No, because all your points were 0 to 90, 0 to 90, and you have coins only from 0 to 90. Therefore, all the points have to be in the square. So the number of points must be proportional to the square. Number of dots that you did has to be proportional to the square. Of those dots, some of the points were inside the circle, and therefore they must be proportional to the square, area of the square. Clear? So therefore, how do we think? Do we know the formula for area of the square? Who can tell me? If the radius of the square, if the length of the square is equal to
Length into breadth.
length into breadth. Okay. Now, if I say the radius of this circle, listen to me carefully. If I say that the radius of this circle is equivalent to R, what will be the area of the circle?
Pi r square.
Pi r square. And look at this square. Now, what is the area of the square? If the radius is equivalent to r, the length of the square is how much?
R.
R or 2r?
2R.
2r. The breadth of the square is how much?
2R.
2R.
Since it is a square, length has to be equivalent to the breadth. So I know the length, I know the breadth. What is the area of the square?
4R square.
4r squared. Fantastic. You have told me it is equivalent to 4r squared. Okay. Now I told you that I want to find out the value of pi. That was my aim of the experiment, to find out the value of pi. And I realized that pi is there in my circle. Therefore, I have drawn a circle. If I want to find out the area, I should know the value of pi. But my aim is to find out the value of pi. Formula for circle. I can't say I will measure the radius. I will substitute into the formula pi r squared and find out pi. Not possible, because pi is being used. Therefore, I'm saying make dots. And I told you that the number of dots are proportional to the area of the circle. The number of dots in the square is proportional to the area of the square. So since it is proportional, I will say let us take a ratio. So let me take area of the circle by area of the square must be equivalent to number of the circle, number of dots in the circle divided by number of dots in the square. Yes or no? Because they are proportional. Yes or no? Number of dots in the circle, she told me 33. Number of dots in the square, she told me 50. So 30 by 50 must be equivalent to pi r squared divided by 4r squared. How much is that? Pi r squared divided by 4r squared.
1 by 4. Pi by 4.
Pi by 4. So what is pi by 4? If from our experiment, what is pi by 4? 33 by 50. So now calculate pi.
2.4.
It is equivalent to 33 into 4 divided by 50. How much is it? 2.4. Somebody has calculated 33 into 4 divided by 50. How much is it? Quickly do it. Let me use my calculator too. 33 into 4 divided
2.64.
is equal to 2.64. So you are getting a value 2.64. Now is 2.64 close to 3.14? Will you say it is close to 3.14? Pi value we know. We have studied and we know it very surely, properly, that the value of pi is equivalent to 3.14. But now we got a value 2.64. Is it a good value according to you? Yes or no?
No.
No, no, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? Because only 5 children played with me, and in the class there are 50 children. If all the 50 children would have told me the numbers according to what they got, then I would have got my total number 50 into 10 points, 500 points. In that 500 points, I would have got my number in the circle, some other number, not 330, but something else. Then if I had calculated the value of pi, I would have got the value of pi much better than I got it as 2.64. If I repeat this experiment, again, if I do or take the values from 5 other children, are there 5 other children ready over here? Any other children, those who have not told the values of the dots, are still there who have done it? No. Acha, is there anybody who has done with dal? One person at least who has done with dal? I told take a handful of dal, put it on your graph paper so that it is fully inside the square. Count the number of dal inside the circle and the total number of dal and tell me the numbers. Has anybody done it? I don't think, because nobody is answering. Please
Girls,
do.
please response. Please give
Yeah.
your response.
Has anybody done it?
Ma'am, 63 inside the circle and in the total scale it is 86.
Very good. Give her a hand. What's your name, ma'am? Please tell me your name.
Poonamji.
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 Poonamjeet. Yes? Excellent. I'm extremely happy with you. You have done it and you have counted it and you are telling me. Now 63 divided by 86 is the number of dots in the circle divided by the number of dots in the square. Multiplied by 4, that will give me the value of pi. Who will calculate? Quickly do it.
2.93.
Divided by 86 is equivalent to 2.93. 2.64 one person told. Another person is telling 2.93. Is it becoming better?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very much better. Very much better. 3.14 is very little away from 2.93. Yes or no? So if you keep doing it for a large number of dots, you will find that your value will become better and better and better. Okay. And why am I saying this? By doing it myself. I will show you the values, how it becomes better, why it becomes better. And this is, after all, a probability. When you are doing, if I repeat the same 5 children, if they repeat it once more, they will not get 2.64. They might get 3.2. They might get 3.3. They might get any number close to 3.14, but definitely not the same. This is what I mean by saying that there is a chance that it will be inside the circle or not inside the circle. So it is a fact that it is may be or may not be. It is probable. Correct? So that is what you mean by saying that it is going to be a random phenomena. But with the random phenomena, I am finding out the value of pi. Therefore, I am determining something from a random phenomena. And you will see that as the number of dots become better, more and more and more, the deviation will become lesser and lesser. And therefore, whenever you're doing such a simulation, it is very, very important that the population, the number of dots have to be large. I will show you some numbers. From that, you can understand why it has to be large. But did you get a feel of it that yes, I can find out the value of pi by simply putting randomly dots in my square and a circle? So this is a simulation. Okay, I don't have a formula. I do not know exactly what formula to use to find out the value of pi. Yet I'm able to find out the value of pi by doing this sort of what? It is a simulation. I'm simulating something in order to calculate something else. Okay, did you get a feel of it? Now, this is the formula that we have used. The area of the circle by area of the square, which is equivalent to pi by 4. That is equivalent to proportional to the number of dots in the circle divided by the number of dots in the square, which you just now told me. You in fact told me that the formula should be pi by 4 is equivalent to number of dots in the circle, which I've called it as NC, divided by the number of dots in the square, which is equivalent to NS. And you found out the value of pi. Exactly the same thing I have done. In fact, this is one of our experiments for my first semester children, those who are learning statistics. For beginning of statistics, we make them do this experiment in the classroom to understand what is probability. How do you find out these probable numbers? How do you get at the value that you want to calculate? Why you should have a large population? All that you will get a feel of it when you do the experiment. Now you realize that we did not get 3.14 in our experiment. Obviously, there is an error. It is not going to give us 3.14 every time we do the experiment. So what is the error in that experiment? Every experiment that you do will have some error, small or big. It could be a small error, it could be a big error. But whenever you are doing an experiment, it is necessary that we should find out the uncertainty in that corresponding experiment. So let us now calculate the uncertainty quickly. Our pi by 4, our pi is equivalent to 2.64. So pi, okay, let me say pi is equivalent to 2.64 we found out. Okay, so 2.64, how uncertain it is, you can calculate by using this formula. Delta pi is equivalent to, please write it down, 4 times pi by 4 into 1 minus pi by 4 divided by the total number of dots in the square, which is equivalent to 50 in our case, square root. Okay.
Please repeat.
Yeah, I've shown it on the screen. Please look over here. Delta pi is my error in pi. It is equivalent to 4 times pi by 4 into 1 minus pi by 4 whole divided by total number of dots in the square, which we have used for our calculation. We have found out pi is equivalent to 2.64 and ns is equivalent to 50. Am I right? The calculation that Herman told after she collated 5 children's values. We'll take that value itself. And then we will calculate what is the uncertainty. Quickly do it. It's not difficult. Take out your calculator and quickly. Pi by 4 into 1 minus pi by 4, whole divided by 50, square root of that, multiplied by 4 will give you the uncertainty in the pi that you have calculated. And I want you to calculate, please. Let me also calculate in my calculator.
Ma'am,
Yes.
0.033728.
0.3
0.03728.
Okay, so let us now keep only one significant. Whenever you are doing an uncertainty, please remember that you have to write only one significant figure, maximum 2 significant figures, not any number that you calculate with your calculator. So just now she told me 0.037 something, something, something. So now I'm rounding it off. 7 is greater than 5. Therefore, I will write my number. Uncertainty is 0.04. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? I want you to tell me yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, every time you write, and it is important because every time you do an experiment in your laboratory, you are expected to write the uncertainty to the first significant digit only. Okay, so I have found out now it is equivalent to 0.04. What was my value? 2.64. So now how will I write my value of pi? My value of pi will be 2.64 plus or minus 0.04. What does this 0.04 mean? That means my error should be, error is plus minus 0.04, means my value is not 2.64. It could be anywhere within the range 2.68 to 2.60. 0.04 means plus or minus. Okay, but I have a feeling that the value is may or may not be correct. Has anybody else calculated delta pi? One girl just now told me it is 0.04. Has anybody else calculated? No.
Ma'am, 0.016.
0.016. Even lesser? Even lesser? I think you are not doing it properly. Let me calculate. According to me, it is 0.25. Error is very large. Yeah. Okay, now whatever it is, let me just explain to you and then you calculate it properly, you will realize. So somebody told me that it is 0.04. Based on that value, I'm just telling you. Therefore, my value should range from 2.60 to 2.68. Is that okay? Okay, so that's how you will find out the value of pi from your experiment. Now, many people have calculated this. One girl just now told that she had 63 inside the circle and 86 in the square. And for her, the value of pi was equivalent to 2.9. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Just now, one person said it is 2.64, or at least Arnam told that it is 2.64 for 5 values. Another girl told me 2.9. Like that, has anybody else done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please tell me what is your pi value?
Ma'am, 0.264.
264 is the pi value or error?
Ma'am, error is 0.2.
Error. 0.2. And what is the value of pi?
2.64.
2.6. Somebody told with dal. What is your uncertainty? The girl who just now told me 63 dal was inside the circle. Totally she had 86 dal. Please calculate the uncertainty. Please do it. The formula is over here. Use your calculator and then do the calculation. I'm telling you, till you do it yourself, you will not be confident that you have understood it properly. You're not telling me. Finding it very difficult to calculate?
Ma'am, 0.2.
0.2. For, and what was your value of pi?
2.9.
2.9 plus or minus 0.02. Very good. Excellent. Anybody else? I have got only 2 values. I want at least 5 values. Okay, now let me just discuss this. Just now, what's your name, ma'am? You told me, just now you told me Punamjit. Punamjit is telling me the value is 2.9 plus or minus 0.2. That means her value could be anything between 3.1 to 2.7. 2.9 plus 0.2 is how much? 2.9 plus 0.2 is how much? 3.1.
3.1.
2.9 minus 0.2 is how much? 2.7. Okay, so that means, what does it mean? Punamjit's value can be anywhere between 2.7 to 3.1. What is the value of pi? 3.14. So is her value okay? Within experimental error, her value is okay because one of the value is 3.1. So her value, if she takes care of her uncertainties, is definitely equivalent to the value of pi. That is why we tell that the uncertainty should also be mentioned in your particular evaluated value from your experiment. So once you write the uncertainty, you will be able to tell the world that yes, I have done the experiment and within my experimental error, my value is 3.1. So therefore, I have found out the value of pi fairly accurately. Is that okay? Is that okay? Yes. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Now, hope you have understood what is the meaning of uncertainty and why you calculate the uncertainty. I'll go ahead as still more. Since none of you are telling me the values of pi, I will, from my experiment, give you the values of pi and explain. I have written something over here, which is known as the standard deviation. I still haven't told you what is the standard deviation. I'm just showing you a table where I have done the values. My students have done the experiment many times and they have given me the values. If I take 100 points, look at my table. If I take 100 points, then different children gave me different values. What did they tell? One person is saying 3.16, another person is telling 2.88, one person is saying 3.2, one person is saying 3.5, another person is telling 3, some are telling 3.08, and so on. I have got a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 values. So all the 10 values are ranging from the smallest value 2.88 to the biggest value, which is 3.44. So within the experimental error, the value that you have obtained in the experiment when you have taken totally 100 points is ranging from 2.88 to 3.44. Therefore, it is not going to be a one value. There will be some error, and within that error, you will get different values. So I've taken the average of all these values. Look at the average, 3.116. Isn't 3.116 very close to the value of pi?
Yes.
Or no? Very much, very much. So that is why when you are doing an experiment in the classroom, you are always asked, do it not just once, do it a number of times. Then you will get a better value because the error will get what? Some are plus errors, some are minus errors, and therefore it will get annulled and you will get a better value. So that is what I have done. All the 10 values I have found out the average, and I'm saying that the average value is 3.116, which is definitely a very good value, close to my value of pi. Okay. Now, in these values, since I know the average value, can I say that the average value is the correct value? That it is a perfect value? Can I say that? No, no. No matter how close the average is to the true value, it is definitely not a perfect value. There is a scatter. And what is the scatter? Scatter we just now saw, it is scattering from 2.88 to 3.44. Therefore, it is necessary that we find out the standard deviation. All of you have done standard deviation sometime? Have you calculated standard deviation? How many of you have not done it? Just tell me no. BSc children, have you done it? No, nobody is answering. MSc children, have you all done it? How to find out standard deviation? I will explain to you otherwise. Now, how do you find out standard deviation is this. You take this average and take any one of these values. What is the difference? The difference is 3.116 minus 3.160. Whatever is the difference, square it. So you will get some number. Like that, for every value, you take the average value minus 2.880, square it. 3.116 minus 3.2, square it, and so on. And when you add this number, this is called the variance. After first adding up everything, count the number of values that you have. Totally, I have 10 values. So you divide this number by 10 minus 1, that is 9, and find out the square root. That is known as the standard deviation. What does standard deviation tell us? The standard deviation tells us how much your values have deviated from the mean. The mean value was 3.16 and the standard deviation is telling us how much it is varying from mean, or what is the scatter of those numbers that you have taken away from the mean. Okay. Therefore, if I'm going to report my value, I will say my value is 3.16 plus or minus the standard deviation, which in this case is equivalent to 0.246. All right. Now look at my things. When I took 100 points, my standard deviation was equivalent to 0.246. Average value was 3.116. We repeated this experiment with 200 points, with 500 points, with 1000 points. With 200 points, what was my average value? 3.122. Is it close to pi? Fairly close. 3.14 and 3.122 is definitely close to each other. What is the standard deviation? The standard deviation is equivalent to 0.146. When I took 500 points, the average value was 3.119, but the standard deviation is 0.081. Please look at the standard deviation. Look at the average value. Average value is almost 3.1, 3.1, 3.1 every time. Whether I take 100 points, 200 points, 500 points, or 1000 points. But my standard deviation, first time for 100, it was 0.246. Then it became 0.146. Then it became 0.081. Then it became 0.41. If I take instead of 1000, a million, it will become even lesser than 0.04. So is the experiment becoming better and better when the number of points are increasing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because the standard deviation is becoming smaller. That means the value is deviating away from the mean value a small amount. Therefore, my experiment is becoming more and more precise. Previously, it was scattering a large value. But as the number of points is increasing, the scatter is becoming lesser and lesser. And therefore, I'm saying that my standard deviation is becoming lesser. Since the standard deviation is becoming lesser, in your experiment, if you are doing a simulation, Will it be better if you take 1000 points, or will it be better if you take just 50 points?
1000 points.
1000 points. Now you understood why I want the whole class to play, so that we will have large number of points. I can ask one girl to do 1000 times, but it will take a long time. And I don't have that sort of time for me to sit and wait for a person, one single person to do 1000 times. So if the whole class is doing little, we can add up and get 1000 points. It will become easier for us and the error will become smaller. That was the purpose. I wanted the whole class to be playing. Anyway, now I hope you will do it in your classroom after this program is over. Make it a point that yes, I will do it once more and we will see how the process is becoming better and better, and it is unfolding in a better way by taking a large population. When the number of points become more, we say that the population in my experiment is more. Okay. Now, after having told you this, we did this whole exercise manually. Please look over here. I have written the values of pi. I've written the average value. The average value is 3.1456. Very good value. The standard deviation is very small, 0.055. This, of course, I had done it for 1000 points. Okay. But each time when I found out the value of pi, I calculated the uncertainty. And each time I'm getting 0.07, 0.07, 0.07, 0.07, 0.07, 0.07, and so on. Each experiment, if I'm taking a definite number of points, the uncertainty will remain the same. Okay. Uncertainty you calculate when you find out one value of pi. When you find out many values of pi, then you can find out the standard deviation and report your value in terms of standard deviation. I hope you will do this in your laboratory when you are doing any experiment and having many values of a particular value thing, physical constant. For example, you are finding out acceleration due to gravity 10 times. Then you can say my acceleration gravity is equivalent to the average value of g plus or minus the standard deviation. But if you're finding out the value of g only once, then you will write the uncertainty like delta g, not standard deviation. You will say my g value was 9.7 plus or minus 0.07 or whatever it is. I'm just giving you some number. Don't go by these numbers. You will find out yourself. Is that clear now, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, if you have understood this, we will do the whole thing with an Excel sheet. Are you ready for it? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
How many of you know how to use the Excel? One hand I'm seeing. How many others know? I think it is a common thing, a topic for all computer science children or all children who are doing BSc have one subject saying that you have to do Excel. So I was guessing that you know it. Even if you don't know, it's not very difficult. It is very easy to do. So I will request all those who have a computer, can you open an Excel sheet? Switch on your computer and open an Excel sheet. Then we will come.
Can we open on mobile?
You can open. I don't know. I am very bad at mobile. If you can open, please do. Okay, I will share my Excel sheet now. Yeah. I'm sharing my Excel sheet. Can you see it? Are you seeing my Excel sheet?
No, ma'am.
No, that means I have not shared. Okay, let me say share again. Sorry. Then share this and share. Now you will be able to see. Correct? Are you seeing my Excel sheet?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, how do I?
Yes, ma'am.
1 minute. Okay. Okay. I hope I'm able to show you now. Yes?
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Now I want you to do it with me. Okay. So now we have learned something about what is simulation. How will I define my domain? How do I create an point? That point should be a random point. It should not be a strategic or you have acted, decided I will put a point. If you say I will put a point, then maybe all the points that you put will be inside the circle or all the points will be outside the circle. Yes or no? That means you are making a decision. You can make a decision. I will, whenever I put a point, I should put it inside the circle. Then that is not counted. It has to be done at a random fashion. Then only some of the points will be inside the circle, some will not be inside the circle. So it has to be random. So in the Excel sheet, I'm teaching you how to use an Excel sheet and to be able to draw dots and random points. I'm sorry, make a circle, make a square, and then to put random points. I have given you some suggestion and I've told you, let us call the numbers from 0 to 90. Why did I ask you to make it only from 0 to 90? Can anybody answer? Can I make it 0 to 100? Can I make it 0 to 120? Or should I stick to 0 to 90? Think and tell, please. I asked you to bring coins from Housey. Okay, Housey has numbers only up to 90. Have you realized? Yes, all the points in the Housey game is up to 90. There are no points 91, 92, 93. That is why I'm making my graph from 0 to 90. Suppose I'm going to make tiles, and I will mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 120. Okay, then all my points will be between 0 to 120. I can make my axis also from 0 to 120. That means every point that I'm making must be inside my square. Okay, so there is no hard and fast rule that you have to make it from 0 to 90 only. You can decide. If I have numbers 0 to 100, then I will make my axis 0 to 100. Have I made it clear? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm glad you have understood. Now I'm just telling you with 0 to 90 only. Now suppose instead of making a square, suppose I make a quarter of a circle. Okay, I make a quarter of a circle. What is the area of a quarter of a circle? If my radius of the circle is equivalent to r, what is the area of this quarter of the circle?
Pi r square by 4.
Very good. So it is equivalent to pi r squared by 4. And if I make a square which is exactly touching the quarter of the circle, what will be the area of the square? The radius of the circle is equivalent to r. The length of my square is also equivalent to r over here. Can you see my picture? Blue line. Okay. What is the radius of the circle? R. So what is the length of my square? It is also r. So what is the area of my square? It is equivalent to
R square.
r squared. So what is the ratio of this area of the quarter of a circle divided by area of the square? It is again equivalent to pi by 4. R square will cancel. Pi r squared by 4 divided by r squared is nothing but pi by 4. Yes or no?
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
exactly same as what we had discussed previously. Now in your Excel sheet, if I want to make something simple in small time, I can teach you. I thought this will be easier. That's why I'm not making a full circle. Okay, it is just another alternative way of doing things quickly. So I will now make a quarter of a circle. Again, this ratio of quarter of a circle divided by the corresponding square, which is inscribing the quarter of the circle, will also be equivalent to pi by 4. And if I put dots inside the square, some of them will be inside the quarter of the circle. Some of them will be in the square. That means outside. So from that, I can find out the ratio of the number of points and hence calculate the value of pi. Did you understand? Are you following?
Yes.
Okay. Now first, to draw a circle in the Excel graph, it is very simple. Why did I choose to do it in Excel? Because it is very fast. If I have to do 1000 points, count the number of points, then tell you, repeat the whole experiment, again put 1000 points, count, it is going to take me the whole day. I don't have that time. So I want to do it in some faster mode so that I can repeat the experiment any number of times I want quickly. That is why I'm trying to teach you how you can do it. Now, when I'm drawing a circle of a quarter of a circle, if I'm taking this as my x-axis, look at my arrow, this is my y-axis. I want to draw this circle like this. Then how will my angle change? Angle will be first 0, then it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 90 degrees. Okay, what is the angle between my x-axis and y-axis? Tell me quickly. 90 degrees?
90 degrees.
90 degrees. So first I have made my angle written over here. 1 to 90. So what I have done is, you just see in degrees, I have written 0 to 90. Can you see? Last number is 90. First number was 1. So how do you write this number I'm teaching you? Go to any column. Okay. First you write 1. Next you go into the next cell in the same column, write 2. Okay. After that you take 1 and 2 and put your cross over here. See what I'm doing? The cross, first it was white, then it became black. When it becomes like this, you hold your left left side of your mouse and then pull it. You will get numbers sequentially 1 2 3 4 5 6. Please do this with me. First write any number 1. Second number you write also. When you write the second number, you are telling the computer that your number should have a difference of 1. First you write 2 numbers, any 2 numbers, whatever is the difference. Go to this corner. Can you see one greenish dot? Go to that corner, your plus sign will change. Okay. Then the plus sign, when it has changed, you keep your left hand on the left button and keep on dragging. Whatever number you drag, as long as you drag, that many numbers will be written. I dragged it up to 21. I can continue and drag it up to 200, 300, 400, whatever I want. I want you to drag it up to 90 because there is 90 degrees and I am writing the degrees first and I'm taking the units, degree, 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, etc. Did you understand what I'm doing? Yeah, please do it. All of you, those who have computer, please do it, because only if you do, you will learn. Otherwise, it is useless. I just rub this out and I will keep this up to 90. If I want to write too much I have written, I can delete it. So I'm deleting it. If I have written more than 90, and if I want to shift anything, I can just hold this button, left hand tightly, and then I can move. I'm moving my graph. I'll tell you what the graph is all about. Here I did beyond 90. I don't want that. So I'm highlighting and deleting. Delete button, if you do, it will delete. So I have written up to 90. Did you see that? Yes or no? Are you able to do it? Till you do, you will not learn. That's why I'm stopping for you to do it. How many of you are doing? Please put up or at least tell yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Harman, I'm
Yes,
seeing her do. I'm not able to see any other faces or pictures. Y'all are doing. Okay, so I'm waiting for you. Up to 90 if you have done, you just tell me yes and I will tell you the next thing.
We all students switch on your cameras.
If you switch on, we will be able to tell who is doing, who is not doing, and help you with if you cannot do it. If you don't switch on, we can't make out what is happening. Online, that is the difficulty. I'm not having you in front of me. You are sitting miles away. So I really cannot make out what you are doing and what I am doing.
Girls, please show your active participation. Please have your active participation. This workshop is for you.
Once you have been successful in completing it, the joy that you will get is not measurable. Okay. And I'm telling you that guaranteed. And then you will be able to create on your own many things which you are learning in the classroom. So that will be the advantage. Please pay attention and try to do it. Shall I go to the next step? Okay. Now
Yes.
I told this angle is equivalent to 90 degrees. So I wrote the angle first. I want to put these points. Then only I will be able to draw the quarter of the circle. For putting all these points, any point I go has a x coordinate and a y coordinate, right? So if this angle is equivalent to theta, I'm showing it with my cursor, then this x coordinate will be equivalent to radius of this circle into cos theta. And the y coordinate will be equivalent to radius of the circle into sine theta. Yes, we are doing it. Coordinate geometry we have learned. So this degrees, first you convert it into radians because your Excel is working on angles which are in radians. Otherwise, you will have to convert it into radians. So for how will you convert it into radians? I'm just showing you. Please look, degrees to radians. What do you do? Multiplied by pi divided by 180 degrees. Whatever is the angle, theta multiplied by pi divided by 180 degrees will be in radians. That's what I have done over here. This theta was 1, which I have written as A4. What is the meaning of A4? In this column A, divided by 180. Okay, how to do it, I'm just explaining to you. Suppose I have 1 over here. Okay, so here I want to convert that 1 degree into pi. I want to write this 1 degree in pi. So how I'm doing, you please see, then you will understand how it can be done. I went to the next column. Whenever you want to calculate anything in Excel, you have to start with either a minus sign or an equal sign. So I'm putting an equal sign. Okay. Then I have to say, take this angle theta. So I'm clicking over here. Click this angle theta. The moment I click it, it is written N10. N column, 10th row. So it automatically wrote N10. Then I will do multiplied by pi. Pi is pi, open bracket, close bracket. You can write 3.14 also if you like. But in Excel, it is already the value of pi is there. So if I write pi, open bracket, close bracket, it will take the value 3.14. I don't have to tell it, it will automatically take. So I have written now into pi, divided by is slash. Okay, divided by what? 180. So I have written 180. Then I said enter. When I do enter, it is calculating the value of 1 degree in radians. So this is in radians. What happened? This is in radians, this is in degrees, and this is in radians. So if you have done it like this, suppose this number was 2, this number was 3, I don't have to do calculation every time. Once I have written, I simply have to come over here, drag it, automatically the numbers are written. So you had written 1 to 90. Once you do the calculation in radians, you simply hold that handle, as I told you, handle, and then you drag it and all the values will be written. My values are 0 because my theta is not written over here. But if you have written all the values up to 90, do it once, then hold the handle and then drag it. It is automatically the values will be written. That is why Excel is so easy. You have to do the calculation only once. Rest of it you simply drag and all the values are automatically calculated and the values are fitted into your columns or rows or whatever it is. Are you doing it? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes.
please do it. Please do it. You had numbers 1 to 90. Convert these numbers which were in degrees to radians. For doing it in radians, go to the corresponding column. Look over here. Go to the corresponding column. Come to the top over here. Equals, if you press this, automatically it will be written whichever cell address. It is known as the cell address, into pi, open bracket, close bracket is pi, divided by 180 degree, and it will calculate. Then you go to this corner, hold the handle and drag it. All the numbers will be automatically calculated and filled into your column. One person at least completed. So if you say yes, you can teach your friends later on in the classroom if you feel that it is too fast and you are not able to cope up. Has anybody done? Say, school children, 11th and 12th children are doing it when I'm telling them. So I'm sure we will also be able to complete it. You should be willing to learn. Okay. Is there anyone who has used Excel before? Are you using your laptop for Word at least? Documents?
I'm using on it mobile.
You are
I never use on laptop.
You all are very smart. I don't know how to use in mobile. Mobile, you have an Excel? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Smart girls. I have never seen. Where do I download? You have to go to
Play Store.
Play Store and then download what?
Ma'am, Excel, my MS. Search
You can search for Excel, Microsoft Excel,
yes,
and it will be there. Okay,
yes.
I should download and see. You are really smart. Okay, good, good. Then the operations may be slightly different, but you will know better. In
Yes,
fact, you will find out better for me compared to me. It's already 1:30. I wanted to complete at least one thing. Please tell me if you have completed. I'm watching you do it. I think I will first show you what is done, then we will do, because it's taking quite a long time for you all to complete. Finished? Harman, have you completed?
मैम इट्स एक बार हो रहा है तो फिर 90 कंप्लीट नहीं हुए अभी.
नहीं, एक बार नहीं करना है, उसको हैंडल लगा के पुल करना है. पहला बार किया, यहाँ पे ऐसे कॉर्नर पे जाइए, कैसे ऑपरेशन मुझे नहीं पता, और सिंपली इफ यू ड्रैग दिस यू विल गेट ऑल द वैल्यूज. गॉट माय पॉइंट? ओके, एक एक करके करोगे तो बहुत टाइम लगेगा. एक्सेल यूज करने का कुछ फायदा नहीं मिलेगा आपको. हाँ, देखो यहाँ पे देखिए, I am just taking these things, okay, and I am dragging it. How quickly my values are written. कुछ भी नहीं था, ठीक है. मैं सिर्फ 90 तक उसको पुल करूंगी, सारा वैल्यू मेरे लिख गए. 47 तक हुआ, 109 तक हुआ. मुझे 109 नहीं चाहिए, 90 तक चाहिए, तो फिर मैं बंद कर दी, वो डिलीट हो गया, 90 तक रुक गया. समझ में आया? That is how you need to do.
It is
because आपको एक-
different on mobile.
जी जी मोबाइल में
मोबाइल
जब
पे ये
नहीं नहीं देखो बेटा, यहाँ पे मैं कॉर्नर पे गई, वो प्लस साइन को पकड़ो, ये देखो चेंज हुआ, उसको फिर ड्रैग किया. ड्रैग कैसे करते हैं मोबाइल में, आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू टेल, probably you will have to find out for yourself. और ड्रैग करोगे तो वैल्यूज लिखेंगे. आप एक एक करके कैलकुलेट करोगे तो इट इज वर्स देन डूइंग इट इन द कैलकुलेटर. एक्सेल यूज करने का फायदा ये है कि वो कैलकुलेशन ऑटोमेटिकली करता है, मुझे करना नहीं पड़ेगा, मुझे एक ही बार करना पड़ेगा, उसके बाद वो अपने आप करके दिखाएगा मुझे ये हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है. समझे बेटे?
yes ma'am.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is, instead of giving you all time to complete it, first I will show you what I have done. Then we will go one by one because it's taking a long time. I may not be able to complete it fully. Okay. Now just watch what I have done. I have taken the x coordinate and y coordinate I told you. How did I take? I will just show it to you. This is what I want to draw. Okay. So x is equivalent to r cos theta. My r value I have chosen. You have understood why I have taken 90. But it's not necessary you take 90. You can take any number, preferably a big number. Okay. So r is equivalent to some number. I have taken 90. X I have calculated r cos theta. Okay. And y I have calculated as r sin theta. I'm clicking over here. Look at this thing. This number is r cos and V4 is this number. Please look at here. V4 is this number. Okay. So that is giving me this x value, and y is equivalent to r sin theta. R is this number. Sin V4 is this number, which I have calculated. After calculating, I simply took these two numbers, put over my handle over here, simply dragged it. Automatically my values came. Then I wanted to plot this point. So I wanted to plot this brown point. For plotting, I will take this number. I'm just doing it for you. Suppose I take these numbers that I've already written. I'm taking these numbers, highlighting them. I don't know how in your mobile you will highlight and all that, but I'm sure it is there. Up to 90. Okay, up to 90 I took. Then I will do insert. There is a scatter graph over here. Please look over here, insert scatter. If I click on that, I want to choose this type of graph. I chose, and then I got my points. All my points have been plotted over here. Since my graph is rectangular, I'm not seeing a quarter of a circle. I'm going to expand it and make it a square. Now, is it a quarter of a circle? Okay, I've got my quarter of a circle. Did you understand? Now, this is how you will draw the quarter of a circle. It is actually very simple, but because you all are far away, I am far away from you, telling is becoming a little difficult. Now I did these points. I want to do random points. So how did I do the random points? Please look over here. I have taken this number, rand between 0, 90. This is a command. Excel has a lot of commands ingrained into it. If I want to make any random point, I told you, take a coin, take out one point, make it x coordinate, take out another point, call it as y coordinate, mark a point. Now I want to make my random numbers as my point. So this is my x coordinate, this is my y coordinate. And for making that random number, there is a command which says rand between 0, 90. So I have written some random numbers over here, some random numbers over here, and this is x coordinate, this is y coordinate. That I have plotted over here as the green point. How many points I have done? Like that, I have done 143 points. Simply if I drag it, I can make 1000 points. Here I have got 118 points. Okay, please look at this. This was 118 points. So I have 118 points over here. All those points I have dragged it and I have plotted it into my graph where there was a circle. I realize that some of these points are inside the circle, some of them are outside the circle. Total number of points is 118. But how many are inside the circle? I want to count. I don't want to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and take a long time. So I have taken another column and I have written, if it is inside the circle, you write 1. If it is outside the circle, you write 0. Please look at this column. Some of them are 1, some of them are 0. Whichever point, this green point is inside the circle, I have written 1. Whichever point is outside the circle, I have written 0. How can you do this? I'm just showing you. You have learned computer programming. In Excel, all the programs are written and it is kept in a block. I can use the programming even though I don't know how to write a program. I am basically an old physics teacher who has never learned programming. Even without learning programming, I can do whatever is there stored inside the Excel sheet. So I am now using some command which is called if else or a condition. So I have written, if this point, let us say this point I'm talking about, if this point has a coordinate x comma y, and if this distance is x squared plus y squared, this distance will be equivalent to capital X squared plus y squared, which is nothing but r squared. Okay. If this point x squared plus y squared is smaller than r squared, then it is inside the circle. If it is greater than r squared, then it is outside the circle. Did you understand this point? If any point, the distance from the center, that distance square, let me say, from the center is smaller than the radius square, then it is inside the circle. Otherwise, it is outside the circle. If it is inside the circle, mark 1. If it is outside the circle, mark 0. That's what I've done. And some points have 1, some points have 0. Did you understand this? Yes or no?
Ma'am, please repeat this step.
Yeah, I said any point, I have written one x coordinate 30, y coordinate 59. So x squared will be 30 squared, y squared will be 59 squared. If 30 squared plus 59 squared is greater than 90 squared, then it is outside the circle. Make it 0. If it is less than 90 squared, then it is inside the circle. Mark it as 1. That I have not done. I have simply written the command. Once the command is written, I drag and everything else is written. Look over here. If F4 is this number, F4 squared plus G4 squared, that means 30 squared plus 59 squared, is greater than 90 squared, then you write 0. Look over here, 0. Otherwise, you write 1. This is called a condition. Some of you, I'm sure, would have done some computer programming and you have also used if-else condition. How many of you have used if-else condition? It's not that if you have used, you can use. I didn't use. I'm telling you, I'm an old retired physics teacher who do not know anything about programming. If I can do, anybody, young children can do. So it's not difficult. You should understand what you are doing. So I said, if 30 squared plus 90 squared, 59 squared is greater than 90 squared, then you write 0. Otherwise, you write 1. So if it is written 1, I know it is less than 90 squared. If it is written 0, I know it is greater than 90 squared. Got my point? So this command you can write, then drag it. Once you write, you just pull the handle, it will be written. So now I have all the points that I have did, all these points over here marked in my graph. Okay. Now I can simply count all the ones and I will know how many points are inside the circle, how many points are outside the circle. That I have done over here. 104 points are inside the circle. Totally, how many points were there? This is 147. Please look over here. 147 minus, I didn't start from 1. I started from 4. So 147 minus 3 is 144. So 107 points are inside the circle. I'm going there. 104 points out of 144 points are inside the circle. Therefore, 104 divided by 144 multiplied by 4 will give me my pi. Just now we did it. So that calculation, I have done it over here. And I've got my pi value equivalent to 2.930. Okay. Now I will go and see, look at this graph. I have for this value, this configuration, 2.93. I will go out and change. One click and I have changed all the points. Did you see that? Yes or no? Then I've got 3.198. One click, I have done so many points, counted all the points, got my value of pi in one click. Again, I go out and I click. Please look at the points, how they are changing. I have another value of pi, 3.296. Again, I go outside and click. One click, all calculations done. That is the advantage of your Excel. Again, I have 2.96. Again, I gave a click. Again, it is changing. The circle is not changing, but the points are changing. And again, I have got 3.014. Like that, I have calculated all these values over here. Please see, so many values. I've taken all the values of pi, found out what is the average. Then average minus this square of that I have written over here. I was telling you, this average minus this square of that I have written. This average square of minus this square of that I have written, and I have calculated all the squares. Added it up, that addition will give me the variance. That number divided by how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 values. So this number divided by 9 square root will give me my standard deviation. So I have found out the standard deviation. In this experiment, I've got my standard deviation as 0.12 and my value of pi as 3.014 individual. Average value is 3.1598. Is it a good value? Have I got the value of pi 3.14? Very close to it. 3.1598 is close to 3.14. What is the error? The standard deviation is 0.12. Like that, I can do it repeatedly. Every time I can just click, get my answer. Click, get my answer. Click, get my answer. How many times I want? 20 times if I want, I have got 20 clicks to do. Like this, if I want to do 1,000 times, I can simply keep on clicking and getting the values. That is the advantage of using an Excel sheet. Did you understand? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Effectively, yes. But until and unless you do, you will not be able to do it all by yourself. Do you have the time to do now, or shall we stop? You will try it out by yourself. If you cannot, I will take a longer session and then I will teach you independently. Which will be better? I think now it is 1:44. I don't want to exceed the time. We'll stop over here. We'll have question and answers. Whatever clarification you have, you ask me. And then if you want to do this, you do it step by step. You write it down somewhere. First find out X coordinate, Y coordinate using R cos theta, R sin theta. I've written that formula, R cos theta, R sin theta. That will give you the circumference of a quarter of a circle. You will find out X and Y, capital X, capital Y. Then you will find out random numbers. In another column, write down this thing, rand between open bracket 0, whatever is the value of R. If your R radius is 90, write 90. If it is 100, write 100. If it is 120, write 120, whatever you want to write. So write this command, please. Okay. Once you do it for X, again, once I have done it for Y, same thing. So this is my X coordinate, this is my Y coordinate. When I click over here, just watch. First time it was 5130. I click it, it is changing. I click it, it is changing. That is why your points were changing. That is why I'm calling, they are random numbers. They can be generated any number of times. Okay. So if you do that and then drag it 100 times, 200 times, 1,000 times, you will have so many points. Then you have to plot these 2 points, insert graph, you will get the graph. Even if you don't plot it, no problem. Then you find out which point is inside the circle, which point is outside the circle. Look, write this command, please. If you write this number in F column, then it will be F. Or simply if you go right over here, just watch how I'm writing. Please, I'm coming to a blank thing. I will start any calculation with an equal sign. I did equal, then I'm writing this number. I clicked over there. Automatically the F4 came over there. I did into, again I clicked over there. F4 came over here. Then I will do plus. I will go over here, click over here, G4. Again I will do into, again I will click over here, G4. All right. F4 squared plus G4 squared. Then I will say greater than. Greater than in the keyboard you have. Then I want R is 90. So I will write 90 into 90. Okay. Then I will say comma. But here you are writing if. So you have to write the command if, open bracket, and you will do all this. Then you will write over here 0, comma 1. Understood the command? Then I will close bracket. After closing bracket, if I do enter, automatically it came 1 or 0. This number became 1 or 0. It is 1. So it became 1. Okay. Now, if I want to change, I don't have to do anything. I have to simply go out of my numbers and click delete, and the number is changing 2550. I will again click 68, 9 and 1. Again, I click 8 and 36, 1. It will keep on doing any number of times. This, if you simply drag it, hold it over here and drag it. But dragging, I have to write all the numbers. If I drag it over here, take this number and drag it over here, I will get all the points. Okay, that is how you are able to do this. And then calculate, use your formula. Pi is equivalent to number of points in the circle divided by number of points in the square multiplied by 4. Then you will get your value of pi. Okay, error, everything you can do. I have done everything. If you learn little, then you will get interest and you will go on adding more and more and more. Okay, so I will stop over here. I'm not going to give you more time to complete it here, but I wish you can do it sometimes leisurely at home. Okay, if you have any questions, I've given my email. Send me a question that I'm not able to do this or anything. I will clarify your doubt. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
now
ma'am.
tell me if there is anything that you want more clarification from whatever I told you just now. If you want any clarification, if you want to know anything, if you want to add any of your observation, whatever you have learned, whatever you could not learn, whatever you want to say, you say. Time for you to open out.
Students, if you have any query or doubt, you can ask right now.
Ma'am, where we should click to change the values?
Go to, I'm seeing, look at my plus sign. I went over here. Okay. Wherever nothing is written, you go there. Then there is a delete button in your keyboard. I'm pressing the delete button. See everything changing? Everything changing. I will go press the delete button. Everything is changing. When I go to any cell, this is called a cell. Empty cell, you go, then you press the delete button, it will change. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. This is the technique for getting that many different sets of values. Not easy to calculate manually, but Excel is doing it for us. Just see. I'm just pressing the delete button every time. All right. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, how we make the graph?
How to make the graph? I'm showing you now.
Yes, ma'am. Random function also.
Suppose I want to make a graph of this circle. Okay. Now, where have I written the coordinates of the circle? I've told you capital X, capital Y. Okay. Capital X is the X coordinate. Capital Y is the Y coordinate. I will highlight. Look at this. I'm highlighting. I'm under what? Pressing that. And then I'm going shift arrow is your highlighting. I will go up to 90. Did you see what I did? It's become gray in color. How will you do? Go to that column and then you press your shift down arrow, right arrow, left arrow or top arrow, whichever direction you want to go. Just see again I'm going over here. I'm pressing the shift button and I'm going down. This is how I am highlighting. I am pressing right, then this is how it is highlighted. I'm pressing left, then I have gone this way. I'm pressing up, pressing up. Can you see? Pressing right, pressing left. Are you able to understand how you can
Yes,
highlight here? All numbers are press shift and then go down. All right. Suppose I want to go to the right, right arrow. Suppose I want to go to the left, then left arrow, and so on. That is called highlighting. Yeah, after you highlight, I'm showing you again. I have taken all these numbers. I'm highlighting. Highlighting means I'm taking those numbers that I want to put in my graph. Up to 90 I have taken. I will go to insert. I don't know your mobile commands. I'm telling laptop how it has to be done. Insert. Insert what? Graph. Charts. Look over here. It is written charts. So I go to charts. I choose my chart. Which chart I want? I want only dots, or I want dot and a line, or I want only line, or I want straight lines between two dots, or I want only straight lines, no dots. I have to choose. The best one is the scatter graph. This is called a scatter graph. The moment I press it, automatically the graph has come. All the dots have come along the circumference of my circle. As I told you before, my graph is a rectangle. Quarter of a circle is in a square. So I'm making it square. Please look at my arrow. This is plus sign. I go to this point, it will become a different sign. I'm making it a square manually. Is it a quarter of a circle? Okay.
Yes.
So that's how you can plot graph. Insert and scatter graph. Any graph, XY coordinates if you have, highlight the XY coordinate, insert, scatter graph. Graph, scatter I'm doing. Scatter is that dot, 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 dot. All right. Okay. Yes. Any other queries? Yes. And if I don't want the graph, it is too many graphs on my page, I'm deleting it. Delete means I simply go to the edge, the plus sign will change, and then I will do delete. Delete button is very useful. Suppose I want to delete this line. I will go over here. The line is highlighted. This dot and this dot line is highlighted. I can delete it. Okay. If I don't want to delete it, I want it back. So I did Control Z. All your buttons, the way you are using for document, it is same way used in Excel. Control X is cut. Control Z is do, undo. Control V is paste. Control C is copy. Even if you don't know, you can go to copy paste. Here it is there. Copy, undo, all that buttons are here. You can press that and learn. Okay. I want to move my line. I'm moving my line with my arrow. Highlighted the line and I'm moving it. Okay. Yes. You would have used it in your document. Same buttons or same commands are there used in Excel. Most of them are same. Yeah. Anything else?
So students, Madam has provided an email also, and she's again tomorrow with us. If you have any doubt, you can contact her. On the behalf of students and faculty members, I would like to extend vote of thanks to Madam Sarmishta Sahu. Madam, your lecture was very, very valuable, not only for students, but for us also. Because ma'am, your thoughts were so consistent with your presentation, and you were aware what you are serving to students at their level. That was one of the very appreciable thing. We should give a big round of applause for Madam.
Thank you so much. Thank you really so much.
Yeah, ma'am,
personally, short.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I request now Neetu Madam and Parminder Madam that when the things becomes normal, we would like to be with you in this campus. Hope so. The situation becomes normal and we will be here providing a live session for the students.
Yeah.
So that will be very wonderful, because your passion for physics and passion for this teaching reflects by your presentation. So
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
that I request Dr. Neetu. Over
Yes,
to you,
yes,
Neetu.
yes. I totally agree. And
Thank you so much, sir.
Sonik sir,
Sir, if you
I
are
would
not,
like to
if
say.
you are aware, if you were not aware, we had fixed up a program in March
Yes,
6th and
yes.
7th. We were
Okay.
supposed to have it as a longer program, but somehow destiny didn't want me to go, so I cancelled my ticket last minute. Anyway, so I'll be too happy to be with you all sometimes. We can have a whole day's program. We have this.
Ma'am, during very start, during you said that I want active participation from both sides, and you did that, and 2 hours just passed like very few minutes, because you were actively involving students, and students were enjoying it. And that's why I ask students that even if you have doubt, you can join tomorrow also, and because madam is Neetu madam, madam is
Yes,
today,
ma'am is
tomorrow
there
also.
for the 5 days.
Okay, 5
And
days.
email ID,
students
you
can
pass on
discuss
to all the
their
students.
doubts.
Give their my email ID. They can
Yes.
send their queries. Okay.
So nice of you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
I am extremely grateful to you all for giving this wonderful opportunity to meet your students. Thanks to all the children over here patiently sitting, watching, listening, even though it is slow, no problem. I'm very, very happy. I'm very happy.
Some mobile cameras were switched off because students were having classes. They were using mobile data, so they were sometimes they were exhausting their data. That's why they have put up their cameras.
Naturally. No, I'm not worried about children. They are listening patiently. That itself is good enough. Thank you very much, girls. I'm really very happy with your presence.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
we'll see tomorrow. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Tomorrow we will meet at 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock.
Really,
Again,
thanks a lot for your wonderful talk.
Activity. Okay, we will do
Yes.
some activity. So preferably let them bring some coins and Ludo the dice if they can. It would be nice.
Yes.
The coins, so definitely they will have. So they can get some coins. Until and unless you do, you really don't remember. I'm telling you, if you listen, you will forget. After tomorrow, if you ask you, what did you do? I don't know. Something we did, but I'm not sure. Okay, that will be the case. If you do it yourself, you will learn it longer and you will sort of get into that. Okay, you will get interested and you would like to do it. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
so
much,
much.
sir. Thank you very much, madam.
Girls, I
and
have
thank
shared
you to all
the feedback
children.
link here. Girls,
Yeah,
please,
can I get the
here is the feedback link in the chat box. Please give your feedback. Yes, ma'am. Once again, lots of thanks to you.
A few feedback every day, just 4 or 5 feedback and the total number of participants.
Yes, ma'am. I will compile the report and will send it to you.
Yeah, yes, that will be nice. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you once again. Lots of thanks.
I'll take the picture of this page, but anyway, that doesn't matter. I want the thing, 1 or 2 feedback. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye, children. There are 85 chats. Okay.
Okay, girls. फीडबैक अपने दे देना आप लिंक ओपन कर लिया आपने
Yes, ma'am.
Good to see Harman, Sandeep, the active students, Poonam, Bajinder. बेटा बाकी भी रिस्पॉन्स कर दिया करो तो रिसोर्स पर्सन को भी अच्छा लगता है जो आपके साथ 2 आवर्स से आपको टीच कर रहा है वो उसने उससे पहले कितनी प्रिपरेशन की है प्रेजेंटेशन बनाने की सब कुछ करने की तो आपका रिस्पॉन्स उनके लिए ही अवार्ड होता है आई एम गुड टू सी द रिस्पॉन्स ऑफ फ्यू स्टूडेंट्स but it would be better. Girls, am I audible to you?